With the holidays fast approaching and coronavirus cases on the rise, doctors say there is no reason to cancel important family gatherings if extra steps are there to ensure everyone's safety. Florida Department of Health in Polk County has some tips that you are going to want to hear about, and they're coming up next right here on Polk Place. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Brian Lacey, and joining me in studio from the Florida Department of Health in Polk County, Nicole Riley. She is a public information officer. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's getting to be about that time of the season. We have multiple seasons. We have holiday season, we have flu season, and then, of course, COVID season.
That's been prevalent all year long so far.
I feel like COVID's like this really bad movie that won't go away.
We're getting closer to the end of 2020, so there's still hope.
The light at the end of the tunnel?
Yes.
May be the train. So 2020 winding down, we want to talk a little bit about holiday gatherings, some of the safety tips that we can go through. But let's go ahead and talk, knock out COVID safety things, refresh our memories. Tell us what we can do to prevent the spread.
Yeah, absolutely. So we, as you mentioned, we are in the time of seasons, of all seasons. And so, Thanksgiving is coming up, and then shortly after, all of the holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, family gatherings. And so now is the time of year, now more than ever, we've been practicing social distancing, we've been wearing face coverings and practicing healthy practices to prevent COVID throughout the year. And it's important for those practices to still be maintained through the holiday season. The COVID is still prevalent here in Polk County and across the state and across the country. We've seen numbers, decrease or plateau, but it's important to still maintain those healthy prevention measures because it's not gone and it's still here. So as families are preparing their holiday plans, it's really important for them to consider how that might look a little different this year, where we can still celebrate the joys of the holiday season. I know many people are looking forward to this time of year because it is a joyous time of year and we still want to keep that. But we would challenge families to consider what that looks like for this year. Many people travel and get on planes and go to different places to visit family, and maybe this is a year where maybe that travel is reconsidered or done a little more in a healthy way. Even considering the size of family gatherings. Maybe don't have everybody, 50 or more people over for a family gathering. Maybe condense it down a little bit, just because it's important to still protect our loved ones and our vulnerable populations. 40% of people who have COVID are asymptomatic, and so it's hard to. It's just because someone may have COVID and they may not be presenting symptoms. So it's sometimes hard to know and realize that it's still prevalent around us. So maybe families consider what that travel looks like, the size of their family gatherings. If they choose to hold a family gathering, making sure the house is clean and sanitized, or setting things up in a way that maybe there's a hand sanitizer bottle next to the serving line of food, or plating things individually where not as many hands are touching utensils. Just little practices like that to be sure surfaces are cleaned, hands are cleaned, and wearing face coverings if it's needed for social distancing.
One of the cool things, Mark Cuddy, who's directing now, he has the coolest things, and he brought in this UV light. And I feel like it's Star Wars-ish, because as I wave it over everything, I'm doing So, if I got the sound effects going ahead and killing, because after every tape, when we got to run through the studio and go over everything. Yes. So that's a very cool tool.
Oh, wow. I wasn't aware.
I'll show you after the tape.
Oh, good deal. Good to know.
As I'm doing this, he's looking and he goes, "Don't look into the light." Yeah. I go, "Too late."
It is still prevalent, and it's important for families to consider that. I know me and my family, we're big Black Friday shoppers, and we're big holiday shoppers. And this year, we're gonna choose to shop online at home. You know?
Have you seen where they're actually offering? It doesn't matter how many. I mean, usually it's like, you walk in the store, there's maybe 10, 12, and then it's done with. And I saw some of the things that they're going to honor, every single one. A couple different ones, Best Buy and Walmart, if you shop online.
Yeah, so many people have. The last couple of years, too, they've moved to more of an online presence as well, but that's how we'll be doing some shopping. And because it reduces the risk for exposure and just being out around other people. But if you are a holiday shopper or Black Friday shopper, or, even after Black Friday, we're getting into that holiday season where people are doing their Christmas shopping. And, it's generally a busy time of year where people are out running errands, and we are still encouraging the use of face masks, sanitizing and washing your hands as much as possible, keeping socially distant. And if you are sick and not feeling well, keep your behind at home. Stay home.
I feel like I'm being talked to by my mother.
That's how I talk to my 3-year-old.
Exactly. No. And that's what my mother says to me. You're still 12 years old to me, Brian.
Yes. But
yes.
to stay home and to protect those vulnerable populations, because there are some that are still so susceptible to not only COVID, but we're in the flu season right now. And prioritizing getting a flu shot, it is still not too late. There are many locations that are offering the flu vaccine, and so taking the steps, the appropriate steps to just stay as healthy as possible and protecting your loved ones, and not only from the flu, but just keeping those healthy practices to prevent the spread of COVID as well.
Now, I know you're not a doctor, but to me, you play one on TV.
Try.
And with this year, I got a gift card with my flu shot, where normally I get it from the VA. And I think it's psychological, because if I get it from the VA, it's military grade, and I can run through walls. At least when I was in the military, I think I could. But I feel like I caught the flu when I got my gift card. So, do you think it's just psychological?
It is. You do not catch the flu shot, or you do not catch the flu when you get the flu shot.
Really?
It is in fact a myth.
Okay.
But it is important to to take those steps and to get that flu shot. It is available at places like grocery stores that do offer incentives, or the health department. We are offering them at our locations. And even primary care provider, the VA. But just getting taking that extra layer of precaution to make sure we're doing all that we can.
One of the other alternatives when it comes to gatherings during the holidays is, because we're tech savvy, talk about the capabilities of Skyping, things along that lines. Using apps that allow you to be there virtually. Well, is it virtually?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. And that's actually, CDC also recommends that to reduce travel, rather than going and traveling and flying to family members or loved ones, maybe choosing to stay home and to virtually either Zoom or Skype family members or FaceTime. It's not the same as having the presence together, but it might be better than having the presence of COVID in your family. And being able to still see your loved ones and still have shared experiences over the holidays, but keeping things as healthy as possible. And it is amazing that we have, even throughout all of 2020, just the creativity that has come with businesses, or ways to connect and still keep in touch with families to utilize the technology advancements that we do have. But absolutely, that is something we would encourage if families are able to reduce travel, to keep your grouping smaller, and to keep everybody healthier.
Talk to me about some other things you can do to prevent the spread during the holiday season.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping hands washed and clean. I know we've talked about reducing the risk of spread, but soap and water cannot be underutilized this time of year, not only to prevent the spread of COVID, but to prevent the spread of flu or other illnesses that are out there this time of year. Keeping those surfaces cleaned. When you're out shopping, keeping things socially distant if you have to go out and shop, but even finding ways, we talked about technology, even finding ways to see if you can order things online or still continue with grocery pickups. You know, now is the time of year where both convenience stores, grocery stores, everything is it's a crowded and busy time of year. So maybe thinking through ways that you can practice healthier alternatives to still being able to accomplish the busy lists this time of year, but to do them in a safe and healthier way.
I'm going to give you the final few seconds to reiterate the importance of staying safe during the holiday season and protecting our loved ones.
Yeah, absolutely. And this, as I mentioned earlier, COVID is still prevalent here in Polk County, and we are in the flu season. It's starting to peak, and we're in the time of year where it generally peaks and is on the rise. So if you are sick and not feeling well, please stay home and please protect your loved ones. Distance yourself from individuals if you have a family member or young kids that are potentially vulnerable to whether it be COVID or flu or whatever that may be this time of year. Protect your family members, protect yourself. Hands washed and clean, socially distant, wearing face coverings when you're out in public if you have to go out in public, and just finding ways to get creative to still be able to enjoy the holiday season, but to do it in the healthiest way possible.
Well, Nick, come back and see me again soon. Always a pleasure to see you.
Yes, you too. Thanks for having me, and thanks for the opportunity to be able to share this information with our residents in Polk.
The Florida Department of Health in Polk County wants to remind you that with COVID still prevalent, and as we enter into the holiday season, they want to encourage residents to remain mindful of keeping themselves and their loved ones safe this holiday season. You can still have meaningful celebrations this year, even if you modify your usual plans. Keep celebrations small, limit your guest list to people in your household and your COVID bubble. Deciding to stay home to slow the spread of COVID-19 doesn't mean that you can't see your loved ones. Schedule a video call for the holiday. Now, if you need more information on holiday gatherings, give the Florida Department of Health in Polk County a call at 863-519-7900 or look them up on the web at www.polk.floridahealth.gov.